Oh my gosh, y'all, look at this. I love it. Yeah, I like that. Love, can you see the swirls? Look at that. Love it. I love it. I wish I could say that this project was perfectly planned, but if we're being honest here, I had some leftover resin and I wanted to pour it in these molds. But if we're being totally honest, I'm really just trying to make molds to match this seahorse that I've already done, so I can make a matching set of wine glasses. I did not have a big plan for these molds, but I wanted to try something that I've seen. I don't have a whole lot of experience with this, but I've watched a lot of YouTube videos, mainly Daniel Cooper and Steve McDonald. Love those guys. I could watch them forever and listen to that beautiful British accent. So I'm using some random alcohol inks. I know that I'm using pizazz Sapphire, Pinata Blanco, and some pizazz Gold that I've mixed up into some needle nose dropper bottles. And I have a link in the description down below the video if you want to take a look. Got these on Amazon. I also have a link to the KSRESIN that I'm using in this video, and also the silicone cups that I'm using in this video. Now, while we are being totally honest here, and we're all friends on this channel, I may or may not have mixed extra resin into my cup in order for me to pour this mold. But who's judging, right? So yes, I did mix extra resin into my cup. It's KSRESIN Liquidy Split. It's my go-to. It's my jam. And I normally have a couple of molds when I'm working on a resin project, just in case I do have extra resin. But in this instance, I wanted to make this turtle mold and also this little sand dollar mold. So I did pour extra resin. Now, I want to put a little bit more alcohol ink on what's going to be the backside of this mold, just to try something different. I want this mold to be really colorful. So I'm just going to drop on a couple of more drops of each one of these colors and see what I can get. Oh, that just dripped there, didn't it? I really do love how alcohol inks just interact so well with each other. All right, now for my little sand dollar mold, bless its heart. It's not perfect, but it'll work for what I'm trying to do. So again, I'm putting the alcohol ink directly onto the mold. And then I'm going to pour my leftover resin on top of the alcohol ink. And it is just so gorgeous. This is absolutely gorgeous. The way that the inks just blend and meld with each other. And I do realize I've probably poured a little bit too much, and I think this mold might be a little bit lopsided, or no, I think it's the mold. My table might be lopsided, but I really do think the mold is just not perfectly level. So let's see what we can do about that. Yeah, I think I probably did overfill it a little bit, so I'm going to take my popsicle stick and just scoop out, if I can, just a couple of little bits and see if that helps, and it kind of really doesn't. So what am I going to do here? Let's see if I can figure it out. I'm not worried about ruining the pattern. And if I've overfilled it a little bit, like this is not a perfect mold. I didn't make it a perfect mold, but I can always trim the sides off a little bit. So I think I could probably level it out just a little bit, but yeah, I think that'll be fine. So I'm going to put on a little bit more alcohol ink on what is going to be the back side. I could sit here and watch this all day. I really do love how the inks interact with each other. It's just mesmerizing. And it is still going to leak out. I don't think I'm going to be able to really level this out much, so I have an idea maybe to form a little dam there, so let me see what I can find. The turtle, however, has turned out really, really well. I'm really happy with this. I'm going to move it aside and try to work on the sand dollar and level it out a little bit. So I think I'm going to use a little bit of clay and just see if I can maybe create a little dam there. And I'm probably going to have to redo this mold, like redo the silicone mold itself, but I could probably make this work. Now I have a little tub of, this is just Play-Doh from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to just make a little dam on the side of the mold here and try to hold that resin in, and I think that'll work. I have just enough resin left over to make a mold of this. This is a brand new mold for me. I got it on Amazon, and I do have a link in the description to this mold. It's just little palm trees. I'm only going to use the palm tree mold on this one for now, but again, I'm just putting the alcohol ink directly in the mold and then putting the resin on top of the alcohol ink. On the lower part of the palm tree mold, I have a little bit of my mermaid trash, and if you want to know how I make my mermaid trash, it's really fun. I do have a link to that video in the description below. So I have just enough resin to make the palm tree itself, the trunk, and then also put it on top of the mermaid trash that forms the base of these two palm trees. These molds have been curing for about 2 hours, and they're still tacky, but they're firm enough that I can go ahead and demold them. And that is the trick, is demolding them while they're still a little bit tacky, because what I want to do is be able to demold them and then put them on the glasses so that they can form to the glasses, and they'll form into the shape of the glass as they're curing. So by the time they're fully cured, they're in the shape of the glass. So I don't have to wash my hands again. Gloves are your best friend. Okay. Just really carefully. See, the resin is set, but I think what this gummy sticky stuff is the alcohol ink that's still, you know, not really cured all the way. Gosh, sticky. I'm so glad I put gloves on. All right. So now, oh, look at that. Look how pretty it is. Oh my goodness. And see, this is what you're going to see. I'm going to put it on the glass this way. So this is what you're going to see from the inside of the glass, and then this is what you're going to see on the outside. So I'm going to go ahead and snip that off. My X-Acto knife is missing, so I'm just going to use these little scissors and snip that off just like that. You see that? Right there. And so this is why I wanted to demold it prior to it setting fully. I wanted it to still be bendy, because if it was fully cured, there's no way I would be able to put it on the glass. So I'm gonna move it this way, put it over here. All right, now my sand dollar. I am so nervous about this mold because it's not very bendy. All right, I was not at all happy about this mold when I demolded it, but you know, your girl is not a quitter. So I just took my scissors and trimmed around the edges, and I'm gonna make it work anyway. Okay. I'm not sure about this one. So I'm just gonna set it aside. And I need to finish that one. I need another glass. Yeah, that'll work. Ooh, I'm excited about this one. Oh, that did not work. Okay, it's okay though. It's okay. I'm gonna go ahead and put this on here like it is. You know, when things kind of go sideways in my projects, I really don't let it upset me. I just kind of think of, okay, how can I fix this? How can I make this work? And how can I salvage what I already have? So what I had that worked out well was the, you know, like the top part of the palm tree. That worked out really, really well. They're really, really cute. Now the trunks did not work out well, and the bottom, you know, like the sand part did not work out well at all. So what I decided to do was mix up some colored UV resin using my Light Wish resin, UV resin, and the Light Wish resin dyes that they sent to me, and this is the deep gold. So I just mixed up a little bit of deep gold, and I'm going to make new trunks for my palm trees with the UV resin. So I poured the UV resin into the mold, just where I needed it, and then just took my light and cured it for about 30 seconds. Now this is a 60-second light, but I turned it off after 30 seconds so that it was still flexible enough that I could demold it and have it be still bendy so that I could put it onto the glass. Then the rest of the colored UV resin in my cup, I'm just going to use it on the piece that I just molded. I'm going to use the resin in the cup as kind of a glue to attach all of the pieces together, and then also secure everything to the glass. So I'm really kind of pulsing the light in 20-second bursts and just keep applying the UV resin itself, the color UV resin, and then using the light in 20-second bursts, just long enough to firm the UV resin up where I'm applying it. Not a full cure, but just in little bursts so that I can keep adding and keep layering until I get the look that I want. And then once I have the look, kind of the look that I want, I'm going to leave my light on for a full 60-second cure and make sure that all of the UV resin layers are fully cured. And now I'm going to let all of the resin pieces sit overnight so they can all go through a full cure, and then we're on to the next step. The only thing I don't like about that sand dollar mold is that I lost all of the details of that little center. It's like a little starfish design in the center, and I lost all the details in it when I made this mold. So I'm just taking some acrylic paint, and it's in antique gold. It's not a really strong gold, but it matches that alcohol ink in that sea turtle so well. So I'm just taking a really thin brush, and I'm applying just a little bit of that antique gold and adding the details back into that sand dollar. I love it. And once the paint is dry, we are ready for resin. Mix up my resin, and I'm gonna go ahead and put, this is a KSRESIN liquidy split. It's fast set. I'm going to mix up a little bit of this Sesso silver white mica powder into my resin because I want my cups to have a little bit of background color but not a whole lot. And then I'm gonna drop on some of this aqua. This is Pinata. Is it Pinata? Yeah, it's the Pinata aqua alcohol ink. So what I'm going to put in my cup is probably equal to 1/4 teaspoon of this mica powder. I don't want a whole lot. I don't want it to be, I want it to have a medium translucency, if that makes sense. I might have put a little bit too much, but I think once it is onto my wine glass, it'll be fine. And when you're mixing in mica powder with your resin, you really want to make sure that it's mixed in really well and you don't have any little clumps there. So I am not going to set my turner arms going yet. I'm going to take my stick and just apply some of this resin right around my little 3D guys here, just to get the resin in there nice and, you know, tight, because I want these guys to really be protected and really sealed in. And don't worry, I'm going to take my finger and spread this around, but I just want it to get in there really well before I set the turner arm in motion. This seems to just be a little bit easier to work with before I set it to turn. This one might be a little trickier, but I'm really happy with how these embellishments turned out. I mean, they're a little thicker than I probably would have liked, but overall, they're okay. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and just make sure that I have the resin right up to the edge of these guys. Yeah, that's going to be nice. That's going to be nice. There we go. Tip is in the studio today. A little white dog. The rabbit hunter or the squirrel killer. And usually his big sister is in here. He's not usually allowed in the studio because he's a troublemaker. So he has special privileges today. You can probably hear his little click-clacking feet. This is going to be so pretty. Might have put a little bit too much of this mica powder, but we're gonna make it work. I'll just use my finger on this one. Not so much on top, but definitely just around where the UV resin is attached. Ooh, that's a little loose. Attached onto the glass. I just want to make sure I have a good bond between the top coat and that UV resin little bobble. I don't even know what you want to call these. Are these 3D embellishments? Are they baubles? Not B-O-B-B-L-E-S. Baubles. But B-A-U-B-L-E-S. Baubles. Embellishments. Let's see, if I was using a thin set resin, it would be running all over the daggone place. There we go. Tell you what I am looking for is more of an opal-y color. Somebody told me about opal alcohol ink. And I am fascinated by that prospect, by that color. But I need something like an opal mica powder to give me an opal look as a base color. But how cool would an opal be on a beachy wine glass? I'm fascinated by that. All right, let's get the rest of this on here. That's gonna be gorgeous. Look at that. A little extra. Let's just get it on here. Do you hear the wind? The wind is really, really blowing. We have an offshore advisory. And I'm in Brevard County, Florida. We have a wind advisory today that is just really kicking everything up. The surfers are loving it though. The fishermen, not so much. And I haven't been on the beach in a couple of days because of this lovely wind. All right, here's what I'm gonna do now. I'm gonna take, since my finger's already got resin on it, I'm just gonna even out the top. I don't want to go all the way to the top of the wine glass. Even though this KSRESIN is FDA compliant, it's food safe once it's fully cured. And for incidental exposure, like putting your mouth on the rim, incidental exposure is okay, but just to be on the safe side, I am just not going all the way to the top. And honestly, having just a little bit of, you know, a clear rim, I think looks kind of cool. A little bit there, but that's okay. All right, that looks really good. My bottoms look good. All right, I'm gonna take my glove off and I'm gonna go grab my heat gun. All right, I do not leave my heat gun plugged in when I'm not using it, just in case. I'm just paranoid about fires, but I've got a low heat in a high air setting, and all I'm doing is I'm popping bubbles, but then I'm also heating up the resin just a little bit. And I may even just encourage a little bit of movement there. Here we go. Let's throw in it. So this aqua, I'm going to put a little bit on each. I'm just going to try to follow the top there. See what that does. Follow the top edge. Maybe a couple on the bottom. heat gun again. Let's do this first. This time, I am going to blend a little bit. Just to get that resin flowing a little bit. Alright, I think that will be just fine for now. Let it turn nice and frosty. Let it turn for several hours and we'll come back and see what we got. It is the next day. I'm going to take these off the turner. I'm not going to show my face because I'm still in my pajamas and no one needs to see that. Oh my gosh, y'all, look at this. I'm going to clean this up. That's got a little bit of resin inside. I think it just kind of dripped in. I don't like this little, I wish I'd cleaned that off, but that's okay. There's a little bit of ink on the glass itself, but oh my gosh, I love it. Now I do think that I put a little bit too much mica powder, that white mica powder in here. It's a little bit more opaque than I would have liked, but I love, can you see the swirls? Look at that. And look at that. Oh, he's so cute. Okay. Sand dollar. Oh, I'm so glad I painted that. That looks a lot better. I think what I could do next time on the mold is maybe brush on some mica powder within that little the starfish pattern, but I really love it. You know, I was just trying to do something different, you know, just a different look. These will sell well. I know they, yeah, I like that. I got really good coverage on all that. Now it's a little bit rough, but you know, it's a 3D mold on the glass. So it, you know, it has some, you can feel it, but it's not sharp. It's just, you can feel the edges. So I don't know if maybe next time I could round the edges a little bit, but I'll clean that up. You ready? Ta-da! Look, oh my gosh. I really, really like this mold. I'm glad I got this. This is a new mold that I got on Amazon, and I need to put a link. Wish I'd got a little bit under there, but it's a little sharp. I don't know if you can see that. I didn't do a great job molding it down onto the glass, but it's okay. It'll be fine. I can fill that in maybe with some UV resin just so it's not sharp. But I love it. I love it. So, good experiment. But I did learn, don't use as much mica powder. I wanted it to be more translucent and more, I mean, it's shimmery. I definitely, you know, like it. But I think I just wanted something a little bit more translucent. More translucent. Yeah. Love all of them. I don't know which one's my favorite. I think maybe the seahorse. So let me know in the comments which one is your favorite. Palm trees, seahorse, sand dollar, or turtle. All right. Thanks for watching. Make it a great day, friends. Bye.